is L.E.O
So
TV.
I really wanted to talk to you about your brand, man. Like, so how do you pronounce your brand? Is it just
It's muscle
MSCL.T?
T. It's muscle T.
Muscle T, Muscle T.
Yeah. Yeah. So how I break down muscle T, muscle T is a platform for your story expressed through our content, our products, and our live experiences. So I'm a strong believer that many of us have a 9 to 5 to keep the lights on, put food on the table, make ends meet. What's your 5 to 9? What do you go home to? What are you passionate about? What gets you going? Like Muscle T is a platform for that type of story. I want to give those people kind of platform to motivate and inspire. So that's kind of like the company. That's kind of the gist of why we do what we do and what we've been built on. And I guess where it comes from, I mean, growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I grew up in a Dominican household. So like many Dominicans used to do back in the day, they would open up bodega stores, my dad included. So my parents, they ran a bodega, like a corner grocery store. So I kind of grew up around that. And like, even when, we weren't making any money and money wasn't really coming in like that, just seeing my parents like and the joy they had like running their own shop, having full control of everything that they put out there, being able to see their family whenever they could, because they were doing that, I mean, 5 a.m. to 12 a.m., opening and closing. And it was me, my younger brother, and my younger sister. We actually, me, my brother, and my sister, we shared like a small ass room. We had a small 2-bedroom apartment back in Brooklyn when my parents had that. So I always grew up around that. I saw my parents running their own business. So I think that's where that kind of like hustle mentality kind of came from. And I've always had that just as a kid. Like I was always flipping something. In high school, I learned how to like hack into PSPs. Yo, PSP was popping. The PlayStation
PSP,
Portable,
man, I still have
bro.
mine.
PSP was popping. Like I guess it died because of the whole hacking thing. Like it was just too easy, and they lost a lot of money on it. But
I
man, like
love
the graphics
PSP,
on that,
man.
bro, like it was like the PS2. Like it was crazy.
Midnight Club was the
Yeah,
lit
man.
game ever, man.
PSP was ill, but I learned how to like hack into it, and I used to like charge my friends, like I would do it for them and give them whatever game and whatever. So I was always like hustling. I was always trying to find the way. And then when I got to LA, like I was lucky enough to get a scholarship out there. None of my friends have ever, including myself, have never really left like the small neighborhood we from in Brooklyn. So to be able to go to like LA and experience that lifestyle and all these different walks of life was like amazing to me. And like I said earlier, like a lot of my friends from back home, they look at me like Mr. Hollywood, like, oh, look
Yeah,
at you doing all this stuff. But in reality, like, man, I'm just like you. We come from the same neighborhood, the same experiences. Like this is no different. Like you could do it too.
yeah,
So that would be my hustle in a nutshell. I want to be able to go to my community and communities like it all around the world and show these kids like it is possible. Like you are capable of greatness. Like there is an audience for what you want to do. You just have to go and get it and be okay with taking the risks and learning to be comfortable while you're uncomfortable.
man. That's great, man. That's great, especially what you saying that you and your sister like being in the same apartment, like when y'all having those conversations with each other. Like, look, I'm gonna be great. Like, I'm gonna be great. What were those conversations like between y'all?
Oh man. Yeah, so the grocery store, like I was pretty young. My dad had the grocery store up until I would say I was 14. Me and my siblings, we are 5 and 6 years apart. So we were always pretty young. But yeah, man, it was always like I guess we never really had much, but we never felt poor, because at the end of the day, it was like we ran the shop, like all my friends from like elementary school would like come to the grocery store and get their little cakes and chips and stuff. So it was lit.
That's
Um,
dope.
but yeah, like just seeing how hard my parents worked and they did it for us, like that always just inspired me to go hard. And I always knew I wanted to become a business owner, entrepreneur, but I never knew what I really wanted to do, which is why like a lot of entrepreneurs, they say, oh, college is not for me, it's a waste of money. One, the caveat in my experience is that I got to go essentially for free. Because
Okay.
I was able to get a scholarship. So that's what makes my situation different.
Oh,
But going to SC, like being in that campus environment for 4 years allowed me to like own hone like what I was really interested in. Like I was a part of like 5 or 6 different startups, like a lot of them that failed, but I'm thankful for every single experience because every single experience, like I took something and I applied to what I do today. And like we said earlier, you know, there's no success without struggle. So Muscle T, so where kind of the first spark, it started I think in like 2014, maybe early 2015. It was sophomore year in, oh no, I'm sorry. It was like junior year of college. I graduated in 2015. And I joined this entrepreneurship class, and the task was they split us into groups of like 5 or 6, and the task was to open and close a business within 24 hours, and the company that made the most money would get like the best grade. So the thing that came to me immediately was school spirit, you know, because USC has a ton of school spirit, you know, when it comes to the college, the college football team and all that.
yeah.
So I made these T-shirts that just said muscle on it, and if you spell out muscle with the vowels, it has USC in it. You know, like
USC.
the school. So I colored the letters like USC colors, and I would sell it at like tailgates, you know, before football games and stuff, for like 15, $20, and they were like just like $2, $3 shirts, like made, you know, downtown or whatever. And it got to the point where I was selling hundreds. It got to a point where I was selling thousands, like at games to like drunk people, you know, and I was like,
Word.
whoa. And you know, and looking back at it now, it's really funny because it was kind of like a corny design, you know, it was like muscle, and then like I had an arm, like, you know, it was kind of funny. Like I was just learning Photoshop at that time. And then what happened was from there, I was like junior year going into senior year, I put it online, and I made more sales there. And then one fateful day, I received a cease and desist from USC saying that I was infringing on their trademark by the way I was using it. Because I guess the way I was using like the colors, it
The
could be
colors.
confused for something that they sell in their bookstore.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I have the cease and desist somewhere back at home, and like it's like reading the cease and desist, you would think I'm trying to like overthrow the government, bro. There's like 7 charges on it. It was like selling counterfeit materials, intent to sell counterfeit materials on e-commerce. Like, bro, like you would have,
Damn.
yeah, bro. It was like a serious thing. You know, I got
So
a call from the trademark office at USC. You know, USC is a billion-dollar corporation. Like, you know, you
yeah,
can't go against that.
that's a lot of
But
money.
like all of that happened around the perfect time because I was getting close to graduating.
Yeah.
And at that point, you know, I was selling like to the USC community, but at the end of the day, like you can't really make a career out of that. Like I wanted to break out of it, and like the experience I had in LA, like I still had it like deep within me where I was like, man, like, you know, more people from communities like from where I'm from, you know, should be able to experience something like this. And What's Your Hustle kind of just came to me because I was always hustling. I was always hustling. So I kept the name Muscle T, but I dropped the vowels because like I'm not like a bodybuilder or a meathead. And for me, muscle, like it kind of took a different meaning for me. Like muscle, it was about like muscle mentality, you know, kind of
Hustle for
like
the
the
muscle.
mentality that, yeah, like kind of like the mentality that LeBron James has, like when he goes into a game. Like
Yeah.
you can put LeBron James in a conversation with Warren Buffett, and I guarantee you that they'll have a lot of similarities because it's the same type of mindset that these athletes that you know Mayweather has and Bill Gates has. You know what I mean? Like it's a competitive type of thing. So Muscle T, I broke it down into a acronym. So it stands for Motivate, Strive, Create, Lead. MSCL.T.
Hmm.
And that's what I kind of look at as like the 4 pillars to really get yourself off the ground. You know, motivate, you got to be motivated. You got to strive, you got to work real hard, create something, whether that's some music, whether that's your product, and then lead by example. You know, go out there and make the mistakes and learn from it and just get better. So that's kind of like the foundation of Muscle T. Really started to take shape in 2015, 2016, and
Okay.
that's how we get to where we are today.
Man, that's smart, man. That is
Yeah,
so smart and creative, man. Motivate, strive, create, lead.
yeah.
Man,
Um,
like that's like, and it's funny that you say muscle because in order to hustle, you got to move your muscle. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to move either your brain muscles or you have to move your physical muscles in order to hustle. So it's one and the same. And it's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm pretty sure when you thought of that, like you were just thinking of that main thing, like muscle T, but you never realized how everything just came together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Hustle,
man.
muscle.
I think like in anything you build, like Muscle T for me is a part of me. It's
Right.
my experience, it's everything that I've been through. It's all of my like thoughts, and I've been lucky to build like a small team around me as well. And naturally I just enjoy being around that type of energy, people that take themselves seriously. Like you can have a lipstick brand and I don't know anything about lipstick, but when you
Hmm.
own it, you're serious about you take yourself seriously, you walk into a room and you're confident about what you do, we're speaking the same language. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I always just try to surround myself with people that are kind of cut from that cloth because that's how you get inspired. And that's what I want Muscle T to be. Consistency creates opportunities. Like one problem that I think a lot of entrepreneurs face is that they think they need to have everything figured out. Like they need to have the 100-page business plan. Like this is where I'm going to be in April. This is where I'm going to be in August. This is what we're going to make in November. And it's not about that, man. Like no one has it figured out. Like like that's what I realized the older I get. I actually worked in real estate for 4 years before I left to do Muscle T full time. I actually left the job just in September of last year. So I've been doing this full time for I guess about half a year now. And like what I realized just going through like the corporate world that like no one knows what they're doing really,
Nobody
Like
knows what they're doing.
no one knows what they're doing. Like you get put in a position and you just learn by doing, and then you kind of learn, okay, this is the way this should be done. Oh, that didn't work. This is how the way I do it. And if you can go through like your workplace and wherever you may be with that mentality, like it
Yeah.
makes things a lot easier. Like people are human, no one's a robot. Like your
Exactly.
CEO or whatever might seem like this amazing person, but they started at ground zero at some point, not knowing anything, just like you. So
Exactly.
like
Yeah, man.
just having that mentality has definitely just helped me. And yeah, ultimately just be confident in yourself. Like everybody has it within them. It all just comes down to confidence. One of the things I was talking about recently also is just about the idea of being a perfectionist. I believe that being a perfectionist like kills progress. Because if you're so worried about putting your song out, putting your shirt out, putting your design out, like you're wasting time, and this valuable time in putting out your product, whatever it may be, and learning from it, and then putting out the next product. That's how I look at things. Like when I started, yeah, for sure. I look at some of the stuff like I was saying, like the original muscle tees,
Hmm.
and like I look at it now and I laugh. It's like a trash design. Like oh my god, like a sixth grader made this. But you learn from
Yeah.
that. You learn from that, and then like every single design since then has gotten so much better. And I look at where I am today, and it's like wow, like it's you just learn by doing,
Yeah. You
Um,
learn by doing, and that
and
actually answers. Sorry to cut you off, but that actually
no, it's okay.
translates to Rainy Day Smiley. What's up? What's up? She asks, what do y'all do to stay motivated despite the naysayers and negativity in the world? I feel like what you were saying, correlates to that question right there, and I also feel like the best way to stay positive and motivated is really just to have the right people around to keep you motivated and keep you going. Like I like to hang around people or be in the group means where if I post a video or something, they'll comment, or if they comment, they'll give me constructive criticism and stuff like that. Like I feel like being around those type of people like will always motivate you to want to do good stuff. And I feel like another thing that keeps me positive, and despite the naysayers and stuff like that, I just understand that that's what's just gonna come with it. Like every person you say hey to when you're walking past them, they're not gonna say hey to you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that's just what's gonna come with it. Like you have to really understand there's a balance between light energy and dark energy. So everybody, you know, has different mindsets and stuff, and so they want to project their mindset on yours, but you can't always do that if it's not if it's not meant to, you know, influence you in a good way. So I think that's important to stay
Yeah,
positive.
I have a very simple motto. Like, if it's not supporting you emotionally, physically, or financially, like, don't make time for it. Like, that's definitely been one of the things that has gotten me move forward. And like I said earlier, like, there's no need to think of things so seriously and just like on this kind of grand level. Just break it down to what makes you happy and what you're comfortable with. That can
Mm.
just be one, working out, two, eating healthy, and three, making YouTube videos. Okay, cool. Now you got your three things. Now, who are your friends or family that support you? You know, your friends that text you, or you know, they give you good critiques. Like, only keep those type of people around you, man. And don't be afraid to look stupid. You know, you have to make mistakes in order to get better. You have to put out a bad project, you know, if you're a musician, in order to get better. You got to put out a bad collection if you're a fashion designer to get better. And you're gonna look back at it and you'll be glad that you did.
Facts, facts,
You know,
man.
I guess that's what gets me, you know, moving forward. So
Yeah, man. I definitely agree with that. So that's how we stay positive. And you're gonna have your bad days. Like I'm not gonna act like, you know, every day is just like, dang, the perfect day, like, or dang, today, you know, it's just always gonna be rainbows and Candyland games. You know, like there's times where I'll be like, dang, I can't believe like I'm going through this today, or why does this
yeah,
have to be the time I'm going through it? But I just have to understand, like, that's just all a mind thing. Like we can't continue to, you know, just take everything, you know, so serious. We can only do so much as humans. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we try to make everything happen and in a short period of time. We try to make sure that everything's perfect. And that's why we get so frustrated about so much stuff.
and always look at the positive in any negative situation. That's definitely what I learned, being in the corporate world for 4 years. Um, you know, at times I was put in positions where I was like, man, I hate this shit. Like, this is terrible. Like, I want to go home and work on my design. But you know, looking back at it, I'm thankful for all of that, because in any shitty situation, no matter how bad you may think your job is or your situation may be, I guarantee you there's something positive that you can take from it to apply to your next thing. You know, maybe you know, you hated your job, you hated your boss, but it taught you about time management, or it taught you how to get, you know, your how to be more organized, how to be more on time with things, how to meet deadlines. Like, there's always something. How to write better emails. Like, it can be as simple as that. Like, writing emails is very important. You know, you might cold email someone that can change your life. You know, I've definitely reached out to people on Instagram before that I never thought would answer, never thought they would have the time of day, and they did. Like, and you should always have that mentality that, like, I deserve to be in this room, like, you know, and just look to keep positivity around you at all times. Like, just keep positive people around you, positive thoughts around you, and I guarantee you things are gonna get better.
Yeah, man. And you know what? You said it, you hit it right on the nail when you said, I deserve to be in this room. Like, I
Yeah,
deserve to be at this conference with everyone else, like, despite of me being from Alabama or being from
yeah,
Wisconsin or Wyoming, you know what I'm saying? Or I deserve to be here because I put the work in, or I deserve to
exactly.
be better than what I been through because I I know what that side of the fence is like, so I deserve to be on this other side of the fence. You know, I feel like that's so important to have that I deserve mentality. That within itself is going to, you know, take anybody a long way.
Absolutely. I mean, you can be, you know, in a room with, you know, your favorite artist, and instead of looking at it like, oh my God, like, I hope they look this way or whatever, like, change that into I deserve to be here. You know, because at the end of the day, like, they're a human too. and they're probably at home, you know, probably a bigger home, but they're at home bored, you know, just like the rest of us, and you know, they're going through it just like the rest of us. And sometimes for people in those positions, like it's nice to be met with just a little bit of normalcy, you know, not
Facts.
not like losing your head because you know it's this person, like and like and approaching it in that way can really change your life, like you know, just approaching you know someone as a human versus like as a thing or as a you know some grand whatever.
It's better than me, or that person's better than me, or I can't, do what I, you know, don't want to pursue because now everybody's on the same level, so you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and everyone's going through the same thing at the same time, so people are more reachable now. Like there's less
Yeah,
excuses as to why they didn't answer your email. So send that email, send that DM, put yourself out there, send them the link to your SoundCloud or whatever it may be.
yeah.
One of the things that I did, I still kind of do to this day. When I first was getting the brand off the ground, I would reach out to at least 100 blue checks, like basically people verified on Instagram, a week. So this
Mm,
was athletes, artists. A lot of the times it was people like, you know, you start with like the people you know, you start with the really big people, LeBron James, Drake, and then you kind of just like, I started doing it to like who they're following, and eventually you get to people that you may not know, they may be from another country. I guarantee you, you DM 100 people this week with whatever your product, whatever it is, like you're trying to get from them, one person will answer, and you'll be so surprised. Like
mm.
sometimes I've gotten responses from you know NFL players or whatever like this, you know, and sometimes they might reply a month later, like, "Yo, just I just saw this, like, you know, that it's fire." Like I'm telling you, just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to look stupid because at the end of the day, like confidence is always going to shine through. People like confidence and people like authenticity. And if you're authentic in anything you do, like you're gonna go far. You're gonna go
That's right.
far. You know,
That's
that's what I look for in people. Like I like being around that energy. Like I don't care what it is you do. I don't care what it is you're into. Like people like being around authentic people, you know? Like that's what it comes down to. Authentic people speak the same language no matter what side of the world you're from or what your business is. Like, you know, you'll find similarities.
gonna always find those similarities, man. Dang,
Yeah.
man, we have some good ass combos, man. These are
Yeah,
these
this
are
is
like
cool, man. I
those.
appreciate this.
Where can we find your work, and what can we catch you doing during this quarantine time, man?
Simple. You can go to what'syourhustle.com. Real simple. What's Your Hustle will lead straight to the website. We have all of our video content posted there. We're consistently dropping products. We have been doing masks as well. One quick thing about the mask, we started making the masks 6 months ago, before all this crazy stuff, to really prep for Coachella, EDC, all those festivals. Because I went to Coachella for the first time last year, and I was thinking, okay, like everybody's wearing these bandanas, like let me throw my swag on it, like let me do a mask. And you know, masks have always been a part of fashion, you know, like you've seen other brands like try out masks in the last couple of years. So like I really like I put out the mask, I believe in like September, man, like way before all this. And it's just insane to
Yeah,
see like the different meaning that it's taken upon itself, you know, like masks are everything right now.
man.
And building this as a collaborative supportive platform, it was also really important for me to give back. So with every purchase, essentially, like we donate one as well to essential workers. Recently, we donated to a Costco in Inglewood, California, to all the employees, and that was nice, man. Like when you're able to give to people, like you know, from something that you built, like it's the best feeling, man.
Mm.
Um, and we're going to be announcing more donations to several healthcare places, more grocery stores. We've given to drivers, you know, delivery drivers. Like they're the real MVPs right now, man. Like
Respect.
people are really out there, you know, like keeping the world running, you know.
Respect, man. Like I really respect that stuff, man. Well, yeah, like I said, man, I really appreciate you for coming on here because we need this type of talk. We need,
Yeah, more positivity,
to,
man.
yeah, to hear from people like you, who are doing things and Coachella and all types of different venues, and like you said, you've been creating these masks for a while now. It's
Yeah.
crazy how you had these masks before everybody, and now they really need your masks. You know what I'm saying?
But you see, like that's a culmination of being consistent because in September, like nobody was. I had a shoot in February with like 15 people for one of the episodes that we're going to release soon.
Mm-hmm.
15 people, and this was late February, like February 25th. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny thinking about it now. We're barely 2 months apart from February, and like no one was talking about it. We were chilling, laughing. Everybody was working, like it was like normal. And
Yeah.
it's just so insane that 3 weeks later, like World War III all of a sudden. But like the mass thing, like it's just a culmination of just being consistent. Like I was always releasing things, I was always putting out videos. A lot of videos didn't do well in the beginning. I look back at them now, the quality is a little trash, but you need that. You need that. You need critiques. You need people to say, yo, this is whack for you to really get your shit straight.
Yep.
And the mask was kind of just that. Like I had an idea at that point, like I put it out, didn't mean much at the time, but I kept at it, continued to put stuff out, and then all of a sudden, come February, March, everyone needs masks. And I think that same process could be true for musicians, artists. Just continue to be consistent, and eventually consistent with the same amount of work ethic. Continue to keep it moving, and eventually your time will come.
That's facts, man.
I believe in that.
That your time will come. That's for sure, and all our time will come, man. And let me know if you need a narrator, man. I do
Oh yeah, bro, you
narration
would
and
kill it.
stuff.
You would kill it, bro. Like you you should move to LA because you'll be that dude, man. You'll be that dude. There's
Appreciate it, man.
your
Hopefully I can do that, man.
your voice is A1. Your voice is A1.
Appreciate it, man. Be up there with Morgan Freeman and on the
Oh yeah,
red carpet and stuff,
absolutely,
man.
absolutely. But yeah, man, just keep up the content. I really appreciate this conversation. Anybody wants to learn more, just go to what'syourhustle.com. We got
Sure.
everything up in there. We're releasing a new entry to our series tomorrow. It's a 4-minute sit down conversation with an artist out of California. And yeah, we're gonna keep it moving.
For sure, man. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The voice of the South, Q Smitty, my boy Johnny Muscle T. We out here. What's your hustle? Our hustle is getting that
What's your hustle?
life. And
All right,
stay at
peace.
home.